Well, it happened. Donald Trump, the billionaire president from Queens, who Zohran Mamdani called a fascist, was in the same room with the Marxist Muslim radical, also from Queens, who's going to be the next mayor of America's largest city, the center of capitalism in the Western world. And we expected a little more than we got. We expected fireworks, maybe some arguing. Needless to say, that is not what we saw. Joining us now for more body language expert Susan Constantine and someone who was in the room on Friday, former Navy intel officer and TPUSA contributor Jack Posobiec. Great to see you both. Susan, here's the first moment I want you to see. Take a look.
Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
Such a strange moment. Susan, what did you see there?
Yeah, I mean, this was like just two buddies just kind of bantering back and forth. So there was no animosity. There wasn't any sort of fight that was to be seen there. And it was respectful. So when I'm looking at their body language, they're going back and forth, making eye contact, brushing things off like it's no big deal. So they've obviously had some conversation before that put them both at ease and de-escalated whatever situation could have occurred on air.
Jack, you were in the room. Did that moment surprise you? You know, why the president, I know there's always a reason, but he seemed so friendly with Mamdani.
Yeah, we were actually told beforehand that the White House's strategy was to be welcoming and for it to be cordial. I wouldn't say I was necessarily expecting a full-on bromance, but look, they're in a situation now where if and when these communist race-based policies, which I asked Mamdani about, completely fail in New York, now they can't turn around and blame it on Trump.
All right. I agree with you. I think that the president is transactional, and I think that he was on Friday for a reason. Susan, here was another moment where they both sort of seemed to show respect for one another. Take a look.
It could go great, or it can go in a different direction. And I think you really have a chance to make it great. I appreciate what you're saying.
Mr. President, you say you love New York City. Mr. Mamdani, does New York City love President Trump?
New York City loves a future that is affordable. And I can tell you that there were more New Yorkers who voted for President Trump in the most recent presidential election because of that focus on cost of living. And I'm looking forward to working together to deliver on that affordability agenda.
I got a lot of votes.
Susan, what'd you make of that?
Well, first of all, it was beautiful just watching them, you know, the two guys in one room having the same goals, and they had a plan, right? So the mutual respect, making eye contact, they were bantering back and forth, respectful. There was nothing about their body language that showed any sort of anxiety or anger or frustration and, tension, nothing.
Really?
And so nothing.
Even with Mamdani? Even with Mamdani?
No, that's his baseline. That's his baseline behavior. So he's holding himself as he's very cordial. He's not expanding himself and being out there and loud. So he's being respectful. That's not being rigid. That's just his natural baseline.
Jack, I don't know. There's like an almost 50-year age difference. If you're meeting Donald Trump for the first time, I mean, he's larger than life. Mm-hmm. You know, meeting him for the first time. To me, it looked, and I'm not an expert, but it looked like Mamdani was a little bit intimidating, Jack. What was it like in the room? Did you sense that at all? Like Mamdani was being overly careful not to upset Donald Trump.
Well, I think he definitely, if you could say it's certainly his baseline, and I agree with that. But if you also look at the way that he has another sort of Mamdani, another sort of mode that he goes into. And this is the Mamdani that is chanting at the DSA rallies, the Mamdani that's getting in the face and screaming at ICE officers, the Mamdani, really, quite frankly, that we saw in his acceptance speech, his victory speech in New York City, where he's attacking quite loudly and aggressively President Trump. That was the Mamdani that was completely not seen. And I would also note that when I was questioning and really interrogating Mamdani, that's when you really did see a body language change, because he did become rigid. He did sort of kind of quiver a little bit, and he did not like those questions.
Let me play that moment, Jack, so everybody at home knows what you're talking about. Take a look.
You're continuing this idea of race-based property taxes.
No, to be very clear,
That's what you said.
No, the use of the term was a description of neighborhoods, not a description of intent.
So you intend to tax the whiter neighborhoods more?
No, we intend to create a fair property tax system because we want a New York City that is not only fair and equitable, but also one that every New Yorker can afford.
Okay, I want to play one more moment, Jack. This is, I believe, you are reacting to what Donald Trump said, one of his answers. Take a look at this. And Susan, I want you to watch this as well and just get your reaction.
You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would. Especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job.
Through your head right there. And by the way, that video has been retweeted like a million times of you kind of with the eyebrows. Jack first, then I want to hear Susan.
Yeah, no, certainly it was a surprising answer. I know the earlier video with me asking him got way more retweets, but people were saying that I was walking away. I was actually going to talk to somebody who was on the other side, and then I moved to a different spot so I could get that question in.
But what about the eyebrow roll?
Oh, no, I was surprised. I was surprised you didn't say
Okay, so
it.
you were reacting. Yeah, Trump basically said we agreed on a lot. Susan, what'd you see?
That was totally what it was. It was an unexpected surprise. So you saw your lower brows raise, and then the center ones, and then causing these horizontal lines right across your forehead. So I analyzed you pretty well. So those are what we call, the eyebrow raisers. That's consistent with surprise, but it happened so fast it was a flash. So it was on and off, and there was a confirmation glance, which was to your friend there. And I think you might have said, "Are you ready to go?" or something to that effect, and you guys moved away. So I want to make a point to. Behavior has to do a lot with context. What is happening in that room at that exact time, your baseline will change dramatically from, let's say, he's there in the White House, rather than when he's out there and he's in front of a bunch of other people just raving like he normally does.
All right, Susan Constantine, good to see you. Jack Posobiec, we'll have you back. Thanks so much.